So you also have to know that if in your case, in your Luminaire case, you also got a screwdriver like that goes in 3 positions. So this way, and probably Anna has shown you this, but this way you can do some, if you have something, a flat surface, you can use it this way, you can use it this way for tightening your screws, or if you have hoops that need to be tightened, you can stick this end of it right over the hoop screw and get your hoops nice and tight. So, oh, I think I forgot to show you something on the foot. On the foot itself, there is there's a hole in the back of it, and I looked around. I got this piece when I opened mine, and I hadn't looked at this piece. It's going to be wrapped in plastic in your package, and this piece goes together like this and like this. So it makes a big L. And then this screw is going to go in the hole like this. Hopefully without dropping it on the floor. There we go. Okay. Alright, now this goes, there's a little area in the back where this will screw in or slide in. And then you can use this to make marks on your fabric, or to make sure that when you want to stitch parallel lines, like cross hatching, like this, that your lines are nice and parallel. So all you have to do is basically mark one line, measure how far you want your lines apart, and just follow the first line that you've stitched on there. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, so the 2 feet that come with, or the 2 toes that come with it again, are the regular toe and the open toe. And I'm going to show you how both of those work. But first I need to mark my fabric, because we're actually going to do some of the cross hatching here. So I'll show you how easy it is to do that. If you make, I'll go both ways here. If you do embroidery, which I'm sure you do if you have a Luminaire, and you want to embroider blocks, but you don't exactly know how to put them together, I'm going to show you how to do that too. And we're going to use a stashing technique called Quilt as you go. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have my line marked on here. I'm going to put this foot on. This is a regular foot, and it just goes again. Come here. These little pins here go inside the little clamps on the foot, and there we go. And we're on. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring my needle down where I want it. Bring my presser foot down, and okay. So I brought my needle down right where I want it, and I'm going to bring the presser foot down. And you all know that how nice the brothers feed to start with, but with this presser foot on, we're going to go a little faster here. With this presser foot on, it feeds even just as well. And the other thing is with the feed dog, or with the feed, whoops, I drove off the road, sorry. Apparently I can't talk and sew at the same time. Okay, so now we have a reasonably straight line going across here. And let's say we want to have our cross hatching an inch apart. So if we put our ruler here, we can scoot this guy in like this. Come on. There. And have him about an inch from the needle. And then tighten this down. And then all we have to do is have this little arm following the line that we just stitched. So bringing the presser foot down again, and we'll see if I can talk and sew at the same time. So the feed dog, the feet on the feed dog, or the presser foot, sorry, are grabbing the top fabric and moving it forward, at the same rate your feed dogs are grabbing the bottom fabric. So your lines are nice and straight. You don't have a big gob of thread at the end of it where we're at here. Gonna line up again. Press your foot down. And remember, you have a lever in the back of your presser foot here too, so you can line it up a little bit better if you need to. You can always move it a little bit. And there we go. And you can probably shut it off at this point. Okay, so to take this toe off, all you have to do is press down on the front of it, and it just comes right out of there. Now I'm going to show you this foot, because this is the regular foot here. This is the open toe. So if you're doing things like applique or something where you want to see where you're going, this would be a great toe to use. And this is one that does, both of these toes that I'm showing you do come with the foot. And I'll show you a couple more here. We'll do this, press your foot, needle down, press your foot down. So if you want to see where you're going, this open toe foot is really nice. Now there is another walking foot that you got with your machine, the big white one, and that's the belt driven one, and that's one for more for sewing like organza, tulle, things like that. This one is really great for quilting, and that's what I would use it for. That's what I am using it for, as a matter of fact. So this one, it just has a lot of power. It pulls your fabric, and it just does a great job. It's quiet, because a lot of the walking feet are really, really loud. This whole machine is quiet, but the walking foot, I don't know, hopefully you can hear me talking, and the walking foot is just super, super quiet. Okay, all right, so that's those two toes. Now I'm going to show you something else, and if you have done any work with maybe you're taking your embroidery blocks and you want to put them together. I've worked on a quilt back here behind me, or kind of a wall hanging, that is done with ruler work. And I just wanted to do small pieces of it. And so each one of these is a 12-inch block. And so how do you join them together when you've already got the batting and everything in? And I'm sure that some of you are doing things where you're doing blocks with batting in and you don't know how to put them together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is one of the methods of quilt as you go. So I've quilted these guys together, and then I'll put a sashing in between using the same technique. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. Okay. Now when you're doing a quilt as you go method, you have to make sure that your lines and your batting and fabric and everything are nice and straight. So I'm going to trim this edge down just a little bit. Get rid of that, turn it around, and then trim this edge. See, we got a nice smooth edge there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Get rid of any wonkiness that might be going on there. So we're going to put these two guys together. Oh, look at that. Makes a little pattern there. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken just a piece of black fabric, and I cut it 1 5/8 inches wide, and we're going to lay it on top of here. And this is with the raw edge towards this block. And clip it together.
So it's folded?
So yeah, so this piece is folded. Yeah, so I've just got this, it's 1 5/8 inch and then folded in half. Always, always, always starch these little guys before you try and do anything with them, because starching does help keep your fabric from stretching. And the last thing you want is for your fabric to be stretching and have something not fit the way that it's supposed to. So starch everything. I don't particularly care for the way that can starch comes out of the can, because it always makes some glops. So I use a product that we have called Terrial Magic. If you do embroidery applique, you might already know about it. It's starch on steroids. It's very strong starch. And I mix it in a mist bottle with about 2/3 water and 1/3 of the Terrial Magic, and it gives you a really nice crisp finish. So what I've done, this is, you want to make sure you flip it over and make sure you don't do what I just did there and catch this little piece over, because that makes a mess. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to take it like that, do that with it. Now I have another piece of fabric that is just a single layer. This is 1 inch wide and it is starched also. So this is going to be the back side of our sashing. And I like to clip them separately so that I can make sure that I'm getting it on there right. Oops, get on there. Okay, and then flip it back over. Make sure everything is lined up nice and straight like this. There we go. And now I'm going to show you these other 2 toes and how cool they are. There's a 1/4 inch toe here, and this is Stitch in the Ditch. They come in a package together. The part number is SA215. And these, I hadn't ever used these before. They are dynamite. This whole foot thing, I kind of bought it accidentally, and I'm so glad I did, because it works amazing. Okay, so this, we're going to use the 1/4 inch foot first. I'm going to take this guy off and put our 1/4 inch foot on just like normal. Now, the one thing about these feet, and I don't know, I'm probably just a little weird, but I like to have the thread going inside the foot. So I put it in, or inside that hole, so it doesn't get tangled up. So I put it like that first. I know that's weird, but that's me. Those of you who know me know I'm weird. Okay, so we're going to take this piece here that we've just clipped together, folded side on top, raw edges over here, and our 1 inch piece of batting on, or 1 inch piece of fabric on the back. And we don't have, because this is a 1/4 inch foot, of course, you know, we don't have to adjust anything. We're just going to do it the way it is here. So bring the press your foot down. Oops, press your foot down. Okay. And then I'm going to start sewing actually out on that sashing part a little bit. Make sure that everything is staying nice and even over here on the side. So even though the foot is pulling it and doing a great job, I'm just kind of guiding it to make sure that it's staying straight. And I've got the batting and the raw edges are all right against the edge of the foot on the guide. I'm not pushing against it, but I'm just keeping it even with the guide. I notice a lot of new sewers will tend to push their fabric against that, and they end up with, they push it against the guide, and then they end up with a seam that's a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch, and then corners don't match and they get frustrated. So always make sure you're using it as a guide and not a stop. Okay, so let me get this last part nice and even here. Okay, and cut. Whoops, cut. Okay. Now we're going to take this over and press it. And I think the iron probably has to reheat. Yeah. Let the iron warm up a little bit here. This is kind of actually nice to work without a couple of cats helping me. And I know Anna has that same problem at her house, and probably some of you do at your house too. It's nice to not have extra help. So what I did, I'm on the right side, the top side of the fabric, and I'm just setting the seam. Gonna do the same thing, flip it over and get it like that. And then I'm gonna take that 1-inch strip that's on the back, gonna push it out this way and give it a press. Okay. Now, we're going to just kind of double check and make sure everything is nice and straight here. We're going to bring it back over this way. And now we're going to do the tricky part here. We're going to sew these two pieces together. So we take the back of this one and flip it up, and the back of this one. So we've got wrong sides together. And what we're going to do is we're taking the edge of that 1-inch piece that's on the back, and we're lining it up with the raw edge of the sashing. Okay, my arm's in the way, I'm sure. Okay, so then I'm going to use some more clips, clip it together. Now, when you're, if you're thinking about getting one of these, what you want to do is the foot or the toes, the extra toes, give us a call. We have some in the shop, but we do have a limited number. So either if you purchase or order them, you will get, and mention that you saw the video, you will get a 25% off of both the foot and the extra toes. So that's just kind of a fun thing for you guys to be able to try this foot, and it is awesome. It actually is quite heavy compared to, it doesn't weigh quite as much as the white walking foot, but it does weigh more than your average walking foot, let's put it that way. Okay, so I think I got everybody pinned together here pretty straight. Okay, so one more time I'm going to use the 1/4-inch foot. There. Put that over a little bit there. Okay. Bring the pressure foot down. Up, adjust it a little bit there. Okay. Now, one thing when you're doing this, it's not a race. So I'm going to slow the machine down a little bit. You want to make sure that when you get ready to turn your back piece over, that the batting matches together. And I'll show you how that works in just a second here. Hopefully. Once in a while, you have to make a little bit of an adjustment, but usually it comes out pretty darn close. I guess I didn't have to slow it down quite that much. Okay. Okay, now if I did everything right, what will happen is that our batting meets each other. And it worked out perfectly. I got lucky. Okay, so now we're going to come back over to the iron. We're going to set this seam once again. Bring the top seam. This is our folded edge here, so we're bringing that over. And now I like to use a little bit of the Roxanne glue just to kind of hold everything in place so it doesn't slip and slide. So I just take the glue, and if it put a little bead of it on there, if it makes little dots, or you can just be very precise and just dot it along there. I just like to have it on there to hold everything in place before I start to sew again. And then I'll give it a press to set it. Now, I'm going to change the thread on the machine to red so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But I'm going to change, so we'll take a little pause here and we'll change the thread, and then I'll show you how to do this last seam. Okay, so I'm being weird again. I'm sticking the thread through the hole so it doesn't get tangled anywhere. And now I'm using the stitch in the ditch foot. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm awful at stitch in the ditch. So I usually use the stitch in the ditch and I stitch over the top of the ditch, or I stitch right alongside the ditch. And the cool thing about this machine is that you have a left-right shift on your machine, that you can move the needle wherever you want it. So you can put this right in the ditch and then sew a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. And then if you go out of the, if you waver a little bit, it doesn't show. So there is a good method for cheating. So right now I'm going to bring my pressure foot down. And right now, if I started to sew, I would be sewing right along here, and I don't want to do that. I want to be sewing right in here. And normally I would do that with black thread, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to shift it a little bit to the left. That's going to make it a minus. And probably, let's see, I'm going to try and raise it up a little bit and see where I'm at here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I actually shifted it 4 clicks to the left. And now we're going to see if we can sew straight. And this is easy because all I'm doing is just letting the blade kind of guide where I'm going, and it's right against the fold of the fabric, so it's going straight. It's easy. It's not bunching anywhere. I'm hardly doing anything to guide this. So I'll show you what it looks like in just a second here. Oops, I almost drove off the road again. Okay, perfect. Okay, and let's see if does it show under here? Is that better? So that's what it looks like. Nice and straight. This is sewn down. If you know me, you know that I do not do any hand sewing. I hate hand sewing. So this is a way to do it without having to hand sew on the back. And then we've got our seam right here. This is very secured on there. This is very secure on there. So nothing's going anywhere. We've got it nice and flat. And you can't feel a seam in there at all. It's just really nice and smooth. Now, one more thing I'm going to show you is this is the world's coolest seam ripper. And I don't know about you, but I used to really hate ripping out seams because it was such a pain in the neck and it took forever and it was very putsy. But I'm going to show you how this little bad boy works. And it's amazing. And I almost unthreaded my machine here. There we go. Okay, putting this guy back on. Again, the little pins are going to go in the little clampy things that are on the foot. Snaps on, easy peasy. And I'm going to sew this on here, just so you can see. I actually don't mind at all ripping out a seam right now. And now I couldn't say that a while back. So, okay, so here we go. I'm just going to move everything back to where it was. Here, oops, there we go. Okay. Again, I'm doing hardly anything to keep this sewing straight, and it's just doing a beautiful job. Stop. Zip. Okay. So, beautiful seam, except for, oh, we don't want it there. I sewed it on wrong. And so what we're going to do is going to take this out. If you've ever filleted a fish, it's just like filleting a fish. You lay your fabric down on the table, and you just bring, there's a little razor blade in there with little plastic guards on it. It is possible to mess up your fabric, but typically I haven't done that unless I was working with some really cheap fabric or something like that, which we don't have in the store, so we're good. So it really works slick. Just like that. Done. So we have all these little guys to take out here, but our seam is out, and so these seam rippers we have in the store too. So I think they're like $6.95 or something like that. This saves so much time. So again, if you want to look at the feet or try the feet out, you get 25% off. The foot itself, the big foot with the 2 regular toes, the main toe or the plain toe and the open toe, and this guide all come together. That's SA 101, and normal price is going to be $129. And on this one, the SA 215, that's the 1/4 inch foot and the stitch in the ditch foot. And price on those is $132. You would get 25% off if you mention that you saw the video. And I can't think of anything else. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative and fun. And oh, I almost forgot. We are going to be doing a class. This is going to be a paper piecing class coming up in this month. So watch your videos. But this is a paper piecing class that we'll be doing in the Appleton shop. It is kind of a beginning paper piecing. It's a really nice, it's called Starlight, and it comes as a kit. So you'll be doing it, we'll do it probably as a one-day class so that you can also learn how to paper piece. And then I actually made it as a pillow back that has a zipper pillow in it. Oops, I have it upside down. Okay, so there's a hidden zipper in here. So you just unzip it and put your pillow inside there, zip it back up, and you're ready to go. So we'll be doing it as a pillow. If you don't want to do it as a pillow, you can just do it as a table topper or whatever. But the pillow class we'll do that as probably, we may be able to do it together, but it may have to be a separate class. I don't know. Depends on how fast everybody picks up paper piecing. But this was a little challenging, but it's very fun, and I think you would really enjoy it. So hope you can join us for that. Watch Facebook and the website for the class. Okay? So thanks very much for joining us. Keep watching, and hopefully the videos will be coming sooner and closer together, and we'll also be doing some scan and cut stuff. So thanks again for joining us, and good night and good sewing. Happy sewing.